We're here tonight for Monsters. The Monsters I'm very proud to introduce. As you probably all know, it's been playing various festivals. It's winning every award going. Gareth Edwards, without doubt, is going to the top. He's a born filmmaker, a born storyteller. It's a road movie, it's a monster movie, it's a love story, it's everything wrapped into one. But more than anything else, it's a new, original, fresh vision from a real talent, and I think you guys are going to be blown away tonight. So I think we've got Gareth with us, if he's finished his business, and here he is. He's the man of the moment, with the film of the year, Gareth Edwards.
I am so relieved they've got bright lights. I can't see anyone. Otherwise I'd be shitting myself right now. I could see you as I walked down, and I swear to God, this is... I just went to the loo real quick, that's why I was late. But I was thinking, I still don't know what to say. And the weird thing is I've been dreaming of this moment since about 4. And so I've had 31 years to think of it. And yeah, I'm still stumped for words. I just want to say, real fast, obviously thanks to FrightFest for the support. It's been phenomenal. And thanks to Total Film for letting us be here. And thanks to Vertigo for letting us make the movie. And more importantly, thanks to all you guys for coming. This is the best place to do this, and I just really hope you like it. And we're going to be here afterwards for Q&A.
We are indeed.
So the way we made this film was quite different to normally how you make a movie, and I'd love to answer questions and talk to you about it if you want to stick around. And I mean, I'm going to remember this moment for the rest of my life. Right now, this is what it's all about. I don't want to think about it too much else, I'll cry. So thank you very much.
Please have your mobile phones off, and we will pick them
up. And got into computer graphics so that one day I could make a movie. And then you realise that everyone actually sees you. They don't see you as a... I saw myself as someone pretending to be a computer artist that was really a filmmaker, and everyone else sees you as a computer artist that suddenly wants to pretend he's a filmmaker. And so, yeah, to me it was the most important thing in this is a really bad analogy here, excuse me, and my mum's here. But when you do computer graphics for a living, it's like being a gynecologist. In that when you see it every day, all day long, it stops turning you on anymore. And so like, the first thing I wanted to do when I got the chance to make a movie was do that thing that I always complain about when I come out of the cinema, which is, yeah, amazing spectacle, the effects were great, that's given, but I didn't really care about the characters, and the story was all over the place. And so that was my goal. I'm not saying we did that, but that was definitely the goal when I started.
Scoop and Mary and Whitney Hager, of course, were an item before they started this film. They actually subsequently got married. That was
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want someone that's beautiful. I want someone who, you know, that I meet in the street and stuff, and not this fantasy that Hollywood always does. But then I met Whitney, and she's the most likeable, lovely, gorgeous. I can't say too much about her because Stu will beat me up. But essentially, it was like, if I can get those two the way they really are, you know, on camera in the film, then, you know, our biggest problem solved, really.
Now, you literally took a camera and those two, and you just literally filmed on the fly. Did you explain something about how you actually did it with that technique?
I was kind of watching it just now, and I was remembering stuff like, oh my God, we didn't plan that at all. Like, obvious ones are things like the cows. You know, like we're going along in the jungle, and then we have to stop because some cows turn up. And it was like, screw that, like, let's put them in the movie. And like, kind of just quickly tried to think of a scene that involved, like, when you could misunderstand the sounds and things like this. Same thing happens. I mean, basically, I'd say about 30-40% of the movie was opportunistic things that happened as we went, and we didn't even have a script. We had like a scene-by-scene treatment. So for each scene in the movie, there was a paragraph, and it would say what happens in the film, but it wouldn't say the specific dialogue necessarily. It wouldn't say the environment, you know, and we basically drove around in a van. There was me filming, a sound man, line producer, Jim, who's here tonight somewhere, but he's not going to shout because he's shy. But, shout, Jim. Hi. Hey! I feel alone with it, you got how this is really awkward. There's basically a lot of people here tonight, and if I start shouting names, it's going to get boring for everyone, but Colin, and John Hopkins, and Vertigo, and everybody involved, thank you. But, Yeah, so I forgot the question. I'm really rubbish.
So I'm going to move on about the actual concept look of the aliens themselves. I mean, why choose that particular octopusy look?
Well, there's a clue in the film if you're ever like bored enough to ever go and buy the Blu-ray or something. There's this little strap line at the bottom of one of the TV news, and it tells you. And essentially, if you ask the scientists where the biggest chance of alien life is in the solar system, they'll say there's a moon outside Jupiter called Europa, and they can tell that there's a liquid ocean in there, which is essentially the same conditions that started life on Earth. We started at the volcanic vents at the bottom of the ocean, and NASA are planning to collect a sample. They don't know it yet, but when they bring that sample back, the probe's going to crash and in the middle of Mexico. But it's all going to be okay because the aliens have sex and we'll feel good eventually. But basically, so they come from the bottom of the ocean, so it's things like crabs and octopus and violinists.
You said you don't learn anything at FrightFest, right? I mean, I'm going to open it up in a minute, but I mean, the technical side of it, I mean, how long did it take you to do all that? I mean, it just looks like, why hasn't Hollywood grabbed you to do Avatar 2? Like, the tech quiz is what I want to know.
You just ruined my next movie. No, it's, I don't know, I grew up, like, I'm pretty confident most of this room is people like me. And I grew up, I always wanted to do this, and wasn't going to get the chance. You know, this idea that Hollywood just comes along, gives you a load of money, and you go make a movie is quite a fantasy. But it was clear to see that computer graphics were going to be an amazing tool for filmmakers, nearly as good as cameras. And so I just started learning it, and basically, I thought, it was 1997 I bought my first computer, and I thought in 1998 I would be able to make a movie, and my career would be set. And it just took way, way longer, because I was a lot shitter than I thought I was. So I went to a lot of job interviews and everyone was very polite, but I look back on the stuff I used to do and I'm embarrassed by it. But eventually, you get a little better, and so yeah, I think we're actually going to see a lot more films with this sort of...
Well, you're the future, I think, with this sort of type of film, don't you think? I mean, people cannot keep spending so much money on these movies, I mean, you know?
I'd like to think that, but if you look at Avatar, it's like, you look at one end of the scale, all the big tentpole movies of the summer, they cost a fortune, but they make a fortune, so it feels that business model is kind of safe. And the other end of the scale, which is the low-budget independent, is pretty safe, because it's us that's taking the risk. If Hollywood likes it, they pick it up and they distribute it. And it's the middle ground that I think is the problem, where it's, I mean, to me it doesn't sound middle ground at all, it sounds stupidly high, but the sort of $30 million sort of area that there's a chance, there's a big risk there, and I think if they could get away without making those movies, they probably would.
A couple of questions before we move on.
Silence. Yeah, I basically did, it was all done on After Effects and Photoshop, and we edited it on Premiere. You can hear a cry from Colin now. Cry, Colin.
Crying.
And yeah, and the 3D was in 3ds Max. Anyone who knows that stuff, we could geeking out for a second. So.
Anybody else? Hi, Gareth. Fantasy, it's happening.
I don't know. I mean, when you watch a film, it feels planned, and and obviously it all goes together the way it did. But it really isn't that easy a process, and you write it, and then you realise you've written it wrong, and then you film it, and you realise you filmed it wrong, and then you edit it, and you realise, well, you don't realise you edited it wrong, because Colin edited it, and it was great. But later on, Colin realises he edited it wrong, and then that's to keep you redo stuff. It's like, we're out of time, Colin, that's it. And so, I mean, I don't know, I'm not really sure in terms of how to answer that. In terms of the arc, for me, I don't believe we did this, but for me, I don't like romantic films, I don't like love stories, I'm not really into that sort of thing. But I like films like Lost in Translation, I like films like Eternal Sunshine, and so I was trying to go for something that felt subtle, and I don't know if we got the balance right, but it was the kind of film that I would sit and watch, as opposed to, you know, what my girlfriend would sit and watch, which is usually utter shit.